Imagine having a physique so attractive that it's the first thing that everyone notices about you. That's exactly what I want for you, so I'm going to show you how to do this even if you're a beginner, have no idea what you're doing, or you just want an easier method to looking better. I'm also giving you a free prize in this video, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. This is a 4-pillar system, and pillar number 1 is optimizing your sleep. Most beginners or even very experienced people skip over this step even though it's arguably one of the most important. Bad sleep will make you look inflamed, bloated, and more fat than you actually are, which is crazy because in my position, I was skinny, but I still looked fat and I didn't have abs. It made no sense to me. But sleep was actually one of the largest factors contributing to this. But have you ever gotten good sleep and still felt tired? I know that I have, and this is your body telling you that something is wrong. You probably just don't know what it is. What you don't know is that feeling tired is not the only symptom of bad sleep. It's also going to make you look a lot worse, including your face, but also your body. I was able to fix this problem for myself when I got a sleep tracking ring that absolutely changed my life. It told me something that I would have never known about had I not had this ring on my finger, and it was that my quality of sleep was horrible. I'll save you the $300 and tell you what you can do to actually fix this. For me, it was actually my psychological state. If you get 8 hours of sleep, that's one thing, but when your psychological state is in stress or you just have certain problems or issues running through your head as you're trying to go to sleep, this can ruin the quality. To fix this for myself, I gave myself a nighttime routine that took my sleep score from 54 to 99. So it basically doubled my quality of sleep. So part number 1 is actually what you do when you wake up in the morning. I make sure as soon as I wake up, I roll out of bed and I show my eyes to the sun. What this will do is set your circadian rhythm, which is great if you're somebody who doesn't actually feel tired at night when it's time to go to sleep. This is because your circadian rhythm is out of whack. Doing this the right way will give you insane amounts of energy throughout the day, but when it's time to go to sleep, it's like you just get slapped with a wave of tiredness, and it's changed my life. After showing your eyes to the sun, step number 2 is training or just any sort of exercise, which I will get into later in this video, but for now, just train in general or do something. The earlier in the day you train, the better your sleep will be, which is why I recommend training in the morning. And step number 3 to this routine is eating your last meal as early in the day as possible, because the later you push your last meal, what's going to happen is your body has to work while you're trying to sleep, which can lead to all the problems I mentioned, aka more acne, worse skin quality, worse muscle growth, more bloating, looking more fat, eating more food in general, which will then cause you to have a worse physique because you're going to get overweight, and so many other issues, not only with the way that your body looks, but the way that your face looks and even your mental development. I think sleep is arguably the most important factor of health and looks, which is why I go in depth on it in my community, which is linked below, which by the way, it's on a huge discount right now, but I increase the price the more people that join. The price is going to go up again after 10 more people are in there. Also, here's a few people that I helped transform just by using my tips. Pillar number 2 is diet. I would argue that this is almost more important than sleep when it comes to the way that you look, but if you follow the sleep routine that I gave you, it'll actually increase your willpower, making you more likely to follow the rest of the tips that I give you. And yes, realistically, I'm saving the most important information for a little bit later in this video, but if you skip any of these steps, it could ruin the whole thing. So when it comes to your diet, most people already know the basic information of the fact that you have to be in a calorie deficit, which is where you're just eating fewer calories than you burn per day. For example, if I burn 2,500 calories a day and I eat 2,400, that's 100 calories burned that day. Like I said, everyone knows this, and if you didn't, now you do. But something that I personally do that changed everything is I keep a mental note of all the foods I eat every single day. Now, this is going to be extremely challenging to do if you don't follow the next step, which is why the next step is so important. And for me, it's eating the same foods every day. Now, some people might see this and be like, oh, I don't want to do that, but I really want you to think. If you find high protein, low calorie food that you really enjoy, eating it every day does not feel like an issue. It feels like a reward. So my honest advice is that if you can find a quick list of things that you eat every single day that are very high protein, very low calorie, that's the best case scenario for staying in this calorie deficit, getting shredded so you can get abs, lose fat, and make your muscles shine through even more, which by the way will also make your face look better because the less fat you have, the more defined you'll look. In the case that you cannot eat the same foods every day, or let's say you just don't want to, that's where I would recommend having a calorie tracking app, because I see an absolute laundry list of people who think that they're tracking their calories when they're really not, which is why they get skinny fat, where they're fat, they don't have abs, they don't look good, and they think that they're eating right when in reality they just didn't track it, so they don't even know what they ate. A good app to use for tracking calories is MyFitnessPal. It's completely free. There is a paid version, but I don't necessarily recommend even getting that. Now, high protein foods are arguably more important than just eating low calorie, because this will help retain your muscle. Just think of it like this: eating low calorie will help you lose fat. eating high protein will help you gain muscle or just maintain it at the bare minimum. But there's also a hidden benefit of eating high protein that nobody talks about, and it's the fact that it keeps you fuller for longer. So basically what that means is you can eat less calories and feel just as full as if you ate more calories. But if your calories are coming from foods that are very high in protein, what's going to happen is you're just going to feel fuller, which will result in you eating less, aka getting shredded and looking sick. The rule of thumb that most people follow, and what I think you should too, is eating at least 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight, which means let's say you're 150 pounds, eat 150 grams of protein per day. Now, once again, everybody tends to know this information, but they rarely stick to it. And even you watching this video, if you don't act after watching this, nothing's going to come from it. And I think that's bad because my goal is to actually get you results. So here's a screenshot that you can literally take of a bunch of high protein, low calorie foods that are extremely cheap and easy to make. Once again, I go in extreme depth in my community about diet because I think it's arguably one of the most important things when it comes to looks. So in there, I also dropped a full guide on diet as well. Pillar number 3 is training. Realistically, most people know the base concepts of how you should train. Like, yes, obviously you should push your muscles till failure and maybe they'll grow. So how come so many people, maybe even you, and honestly even me when I was younger, would go to the gym so often without even getting results? It's because you're overcomplicating it. And let's be real, a lot of people, whenever they have too much information, too much things going on in their head, they tend to pretty much just quit, give up, or just not do it. So instead of trying to give you specific advice about training this amount of days per week, doing this, that, the other, I'm just going to give you a general guideline, and you should be able to choose what you want, because if you like doing it, you're a lot less likely to quit, which is also why I wouldn't recommend listening to a lot of like the scammers in the fitness community who tell you very specific advice, because most of the time it's going to lead to you quitting, in which is the only case where you get 0 results for your work that you're putting in. So here's the general rule of thumb that you should follow to basically get results no matter what you do. Number 1, if you absolutely exhaust a muscle, it will grow. It doesn't matter if you're doing 100 push-ups or 5 reps on a bench press. Find an exercise where when you do that exercise, you feel the muscle contracting very hard, and then do that 1 or even a few times a week. I honestly don't recommend picking a ton of different exercises to do. I recommend finding one that you like and just getting really good at doing that, because even in the gym, it's like a skill that you can train to train certain muscles. You don't just train and you get results. You have to actually train, but do it the right way to get results. And just to give you a personal example of what not to do, when I started going to the gym, I literally went for a year straight. I would spend so much time in the gym and I really did enjoy it, but I got practically no results. And it's because I was not training with skill. I would walk in the gym, get distracted, talk to a ton of people, which by the way was fun, but if your goal is to build muscle, you actually need to focus, take your muscles close to failure, and go a few times a week. It really is that simple. And just to tell you what I do now, I literally go to the gym for about like 45 minutes, 3 days a week, and I just push my muscles that I want to grow to failure. And by doing that, I've seen the best results I ever have in my entire life in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of effort. Pair this with the sleep routine I gave you and the diet thing, it's just going to be so easy. Not to mention another hidden benefit, that when you start training, you get more results than you ever will in your entire life as long as you're doing it properly, and your results actually diminish over time as you stay in the gym longer because your muscles become attuned to the training. So this is one of those examples where literally just going to the gym at all will get you insane results with the smallest amount of time commitment, and it's so easy. Here's a list of some of the exercises I recommend that are extremely simple and easy to understand. Pillar number 4 is miscellaneous, aka all the random stuff that you probably never hear on YouTube or just in general, because I learned them through my own experience. Number 1, shave your body hair. I shaved this morning and it just makes you look so much more defined. It's like genuinely insane. And pro tip, by the way, you can also shave your face, which will also make it look more defined. And this even applies to people who don't have a ton of facial hair or body hair. Miscellaneous tip number 2 is tanning, which I also go in depth about on my community because it's so undervalued and so important at the same time. I found a method that I've literally never seen anyone do before, and I'm going to talk about it more, but basically you get a self-tanning lotion on like Amazon, right? That's what I do. You put it into a spray mist bottle, you shake up the bottle, and then you literally have a homemade spray tan that looks completely real. I have it on right now, and I bet you had no idea. Once again, I also recommend applying it to your face because it'll make your face and your body look more defined. Why do you think bodybuilders get a spray tan before their shows? This will legitimately create an overnight difference, so I don't see why you wouldn't do it, even if you didn't listen to any of the other tips I've given so far. Miscellaneous tip number 3 is staying around people who have similar habits and are on a similar life path to you in every single way. If you didn't know this, a lot of you will develop the habits of the people that you surround yourself with, whether that's online or in person, which once again is why I made my paid community linked below. But at the beginning of this video, I promised you a free gift, and I make sure to deliver on all of my promises. So down below, if you don't want to pay money for anything, I have a free email list you can join where weekly I give you free tips. I'm going to be hosting giveaways and a bunch of just like free sauce to improve yourself in every way possible. And if you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like this one right here.